Alright, this is the battle with KARY at the end of the Gurgu volcano, or the Gulag volcano, or whatever volcano you prefer to call it. Taking a look at our items, you can see that we've got the treasures from the Temple of Ordeals, the Heal Staff, and the Gauntlets, or the ZEUS Gauntlet. This is the new flavor text from KARY in this one. Well, she goes by Marilith in this one. But I will be going with KARY, the old translation. That should have been Kali, I think the Indian god Kali. But I always think of KARY as a female named KARY, simply just because of the memory I have of her name. So I'm blinking up here in this first round, and I'm going to cast Bar Fire to try to protect from her fire spells, because as you might imagine, that is her element. Now, she gets in her Fire 2 spell just before we get in our Bar Fire spell, so a lot like what happened in the Lich battle. Just because of action order, we protected ourselves just one action too late, but that's okay, because she'll be pulling that out again. She has a 48 out of 128 chance to cast magic on that first turn. She has no skills. Her next spell, we're seeing it right here, is Dark. Thankfully, it's not really going to have much of an impact on our mage battle, as most of our damage is going to come from the ZEUS Gauntlet once I'm fully blinked up. Now, this battle did confuse me just a little bit, because as I was blinking up, the math in my head that I did, I should have had more than enough evasion to avoid all but the 0 rolling critical attacks, which should show up about 1 in 201 chances to hit. But she was still landing hits on me, so I was not sure if either I did my math wrong or she was just getting very, very good luck. Now, she does have a accuracy of 63 and 6 potential hits. So the blink was clearly doing good work, as she was still only hitting me once or twice per action, but I would have expected her to be completely missing me. Now, the Heal Staff would see some good use in this battle to kind of help cure up that gradual damage, especially from the Fire 2 spells that she was landing. And I had to pause to think there, because I had cast 3 blinks, which should have increased my evasion by 240, making me nearly unhittable, but I added another one, and she kept landing hits on me, so I wasn't sure what to make on that one. See, 2 hits, 114 damage, nearly took out the second mage there, the WTF second mage. But thankfully, he's still around, and still casting. So I kept Blink going with those other 2, and now I'm in full offense mode with my third mage there on the with the ZEUS Gauntlets. So getting through the volcano was just a process in steps. I cleared out the treasures on the first floor, and I retreated to go heal up. So the his damage is greatly reduced thanks to the Bar Fire. So I just went through it's actually the second basement floor of the volcano with most of the treasure, and then I came back down, cleared out a little bit more. I tried to do a little bit of Agama grinding, because normal parties, that's a perfect place to do it. There's 2 spiked squares with Agamas, or the fire lizards, right next to each other, and you can just grind them using the Heal Staff for infinite healing. But I actually found with this party, not having the kind of armor to protect from their physical attacks, I was really, really lacking and actually unable to keep up with the damage, because they have the Cremate, or the all-targeting fire attack, that would take everybody's health out, and when they did physical attack, it would often do a couple of hits for 50 or 60 damage. So between those 2, the Heal Staff was unable to keep up with it. Now, normal parties, when I think about normal parties, often they have some fighters with armor in the front couple of positions, so they're able on those physical attacks to only take a few damage, which is, of course, more than enough to get healed back with the Heal Staff. And when you combine that with spreading out physical attacks and the rather weak fire spells, you can just kind of indefinitely power up with those Agamas, but I was unable to do that. So there, my top mage was almost taken out by a couple of hits, at least one of them going critical there. So either I did my math incorrectly, or she was just getting very, very good luck. Now, she can land 6 hits, as I said. So it's if she was landing her full complement of attacks on me, she would be one-shotting my characters. But thankfully, that wasn't happening here. I do have a couple of Kiragas, and the ZEUS Gauntlet keeps going. She does have 600 hit points. points, by the way. And almost all of that damage is going to have to come from my ZEUS Gauntlets, because she has 50 defense. So not my silver hammers, my mithril hammers are not going to be able to overcome her 50 physical defense. She actually has pretty good magical defense also. So she's rather hard to damage. I could have used Fear and got her to run away. That's a common white mage strategy, is to cast Fear on her over and over and get her to run away from you, because she's not immune to that. She's actually weak to that, to the status spell. So I could have also I tried to land a couple of other things on her, but I just went with the offense here, because my plan originally involved Blink totally nullifying her physical attacks. Now this was my first attempt on her, so I did not have to refine my tactics. This was my first attempt. But it did not quite go as I planned. As you can see, the front row character has casted all 6 blinks on himself. But if I had refined, or if I had failed on this first one, I would have changed my tactics up just a little bit. So there's Fire 2 again. Again, not too much damage. So with the Heal Staff and the Kiragas, we've been able to keep pace with her damage. I skipped some of the better treasures in the volcano, most notably probably the flame armor that's guarded by the red dragon down here on the same floor as KARY herself. I skipped that one because it's guarded by a tough battle. You have to fight a couple of tough battles to get down to it, I think, too. There's another Agama down there, and just when I reached this floor, I was actually surprised with how quickly I got down here once I was not sidetracking for the treasures. These dungeons are actually surprisingly short if you are just taking a direct shot through them. So when I got all the way down here, I was, oh yeah, alright, cool. Let's just go and see how things go with KARY. With just the blink / barfire / heal staff strategy. Because I knew that was that's really all of her threats, and the heal staff can well overcome her fire spells. But there she landed 3 hits on me. After all of those blinks, she still landed 3 of her 6 hits on that top character. So I suppose back to the drawing board to see what was just what was going on there with this one. Kind of a mystery to me. So we are working her down, though. The physical attacks are doing very, very, very little. I'm mostly just having them physical attack because I simply don't have anything else for them to do. It's just an action that they could take to kill a turn. The ZEUS Gauntlet is going to be it, but as you can see, 20 damage at a time is not exactly going to be breaking the bank. And in this restored version, the intelligence stat, so that's a crucial spot there. She cast the hold spell on my character 4 up there. Now that made him paralyzed, and when you're paralyzed, you cannot use your evasion, and that includes the evasion granted by Blink. So by the way, hold is near the end of her spell rotation. Her spell rotation goes Fire 2, Dark, Fire 2, Dark, Fire 2, Hold, Fire 2, Hold. That's her whole spell rotation, and then she'll turn it back around to the beginning again. So she used Hold there, and that locked down that top character. So he's going to be paralyzed going forward. Though the intelligence stat is added to your chance to double, but that does not apply when you use items. So you can see right there, she landed all 6 hits for 350-something damage. So that's what we would be looking at without the blinks. We would be looking at eating that every time she attacks. So 2/3 of the time, she would be attacking with 6 hits and all of that damage. So she has attack of 40. So she would be rolling 40 to 80 minus our defense, which is not very high, times 6, with any criticals worked in there. So that he was not going to survive that attack, nor will any of our characters really if she lands a full 6 hits shot on him. But the chance to double your spell damage is not added with your intelligence when you use items. So the gauntlets there are not as powerful as a black mage casting Lightning 2. So that's the spell that I'm casting as Lit 2 or Thundara. but it's not going to be quite as effective as a black mage casting it with their intelligence, because the way magic damage goes is it goes from 1x to 2x, but there's also a chance to double that on the damage. So spells have a little bit more complex calculation than a physical attack, and that just really is the way that they simulated a multiplier, like a hit multiplier. So physical attacks get extra hits. Magic simply gets a chance to double its effective damage. But we wouldn't see the ZEUS Gauntlets doubling very often with these white mages. Hence the quite low damage on her. So 600 hit points. Now this hack, this restored patch does have an optional boss hit points doubled patch that you can add to it that makes these bosses a little bit stronger. I decided not to do that because for a lot of parties, these fiend bosses really are quite underpowered for what you can do. You can usually take them out in just a couple of rounds. But I did not add that patch for this one because I felt it would not be with the spirit of the white mage game. Plus, it would just make these battles last a lot longer when I'm just dealing a few hit points per round. It's not that I would run out of resources, although with KARY here, the hold spell could have been a big problem. But I could have just sat here with the heal staff, going back and forth with the heal staff. So there's Fire 2 again. So if she rolls a spell again, it's going to be hold. That's the Fire 2. That's the second to last spell of her spell rotation. So I will have to be watching out for that. And again, if I had failed this battle, I would have come back and tried to hit her with a different status. I would have either tried the fear tactic. I would have maybe tried silence to try to get that to stop from popping up. So she did hit me with hold there, so could have been trouble, but we were able to get her on that last hit with the gauntlets. So only one mage was lost in this battle with KARY. We get our level ups and we get to continue on. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel here. I'm going to be putting up more videos from this run and subsequent runs that I do of these old Final Fantasy games. Let me know what you think. Give me a comment. Give me a shout out on Twitter, and we will see you next time.